Big headline, President Trump taking a softer tone, if you will. It's talking more about diplomacy. Herb, were you surprised at this? Because the mainstream media seemed to be somewhat shocked that he didn't go over there and talk about the missile boy.
Well, first of all, the mainstream media doesn't give him a break at all. But I think what's important to note is that the Chinese a couple of weeks ago talked about a freeze proposition in the UN. On its face, it's kind of ridiculous because it creates a kind of moral equivalence between the United States and North Korea. But what's interesting about it is that for the first time, the Chinese made the admission that they could control North Korean testing. That's the beginning of a negotiation. That, it strikes me, is a very interesting gambit.
Public. They made
that public at the United Nations.
Really?
Yes. So again, you can ignore one part of that equation, but one part is quite interesting. One of the things that I think is important to note, the Chinese provide 90% of the food and fuel in the country.
Sure.
If you don't have fuel, you don't have electricity. You don't have electricity, you don't have computers. You don't have computers, you can't fly ICBMs to North America. So the Chinese have great leverage.
Herb, let me just ask you, as a Middle Eastern expert, this what's going on in Saudi Arabia. I don't understand it. I mean, I see on the surface what's happening here, but you read different articles, you don't know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, and we know the history of Saudi Arabia. It's the way the families have killed each other, how one side of the family seized power from another. Should we be concerned? Is this something, what's the impact going to be on the region?
Well, I think that the impact on the region is going to be quite profound. The 32-year-old crown prince is consolidating power in the country. What he is saying is there are many branches to Ibn Saud, the founder of Saudi Arabia, but there's only one branch now. That's mine. It's my family.
News or bad news for
I'll tell you why it's good, because the only way you're going to get modernization and some liberalization is to introduce the kind of reforms that the crown prince has been talking about.